This is the Homo volocrae. It derived from Homo corto, which derived from Homo industra. Homo industra was the first human to be able to convert carbon from the atmosphere into energy. Over time, however, the humans who had the quickest accelerations were more fit for the environment. Coincidentally, these faster humans were shorter. The Homo corto was considered a new species since there was a drastic difference in height. The short Homo corto had more control over its balance and muscles, thus allowing it to run faster and dodge obstacles. However, the Homo corto had the same reaction process as the Homo industra. Often, a Homo corto would die by running too fast and hitting a tree or running off a cliff. There were a few individuals who had quicker reactions than the ones who died. It was later discovered that these individuals had two medullas in their brainstem instead of just one, which was responsible for the faster reactions. Thus, the newest species, Homo velox, was classified. While the archaeologist Indiana Bones was running away from natives in the rainforest in South America, he came across another group of natives who were kind and offered Bones shelter and protection from the evil bloodthirsty natives. It was here Bones discovered the native species Homo velox and documented their lifestyle. The Homo velox is found in the tropical rainforest. They can survive in areas with heavy abundance of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This is because they have a respiratory system that can convert carbon from the atmosphere into stored energy. For shelter, the Homo velox prefers to rest on the forest floor. If a predator comes, the Homo velox can quickly escape. During its active hours, however, the Homo velox enjoys climbing trees and bathing in the sunlight. The Homo velox eats a variety of plants and bugs. Although she has a respiratory system that can convert carbon into stored energy, the Homo velox consumes these bugs and plants for extra energy to run at extreme speeds. The fastest individuals are highly respected and valued in the community. These individuals survey the territory, deliver messages, and go on supply runs for materials such as oil or salt. The stronger individuals are also valued in the community for their protection against large wild predators. The smartest individuals are the most respected in the community. These individuals are the leaders. They determine how supplies should be distributed and how the community should be run. Male Homo veloxes tend to be more valued than females. This is because males tend to be stronger and faster than the females. The average individuals gather food and local supplies to share with their buddies. Individuals of this species develop strong relationships with one another. This species is extroverted and enjoys doing activities together such as climbing trees, watching sunsets, or gathering food. This species gathers food and stores their food in their bags for future purposes. A female Homo velox will choose their mate based off of physical attributes and personality. Physically, females prefer the stronger and faster males. Usually, the faster females prefer the stronger males, and the stronger females prefer the faster males. In addition to physical features, a female would mate with a male who they have a strong, stable relationship with. This is because when the Homo velox chooses their mate, they mate for life through sexual reproduction. Healthy relationships are valued by the Homo velox. According to the Homo velox, family is most important. Thus, parents care for their offspring by supplying them with food and guidance. Parents allow their children more independence as they age. By the age of 16, children are allowed to run off and gather their own food. Once mature, children remain close with their parents and other family members.
Coral reef biome. Most reef-building corals contain a photosynthetic algae called zooxanthellae. The corals and algae have a mutualistic relationship, and the coral itself is used as a source of protection for the algae so that it is able to take part in the process of photosynthesis. The zooxanthellae is often located in the tissue of coral reefs. Nematic phthodic, a species of fish that is capable to change colors based on the environment present. They can breathe strongly when exposed to abnormal amounts of oxygen, and they soak up sunlight from zooxanthellae, which is an algae that provides oxygen and food to the coral through photosynthesis, which keeps the coral living. The fish of this species spends its day on the coral as it is active during the nighttime. The main source of energy this species obtains is from sunlight that is used in photosynthesis for the ecosystem of coral reefs. Another way the species obtains energy is through the food of butterfly fish, which are usually found eating off of corals. The zooxanthellae is the source of which the coral reef receives its oxygen and food. It uses the process of photosynthesis, which is when organisms use sunlight to synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water. Because sunlight is only available during the daytime, the species gathers on the coral reef where the sun is usually attracted to reach the zooxanthellae algae. Then the fish automatically soak up the sunlight instead of letting the algae consume it. The zooxanthellae does not benefit from this fish as they lack the consumption of sunlight to keep the reefs alive. The pneumatic phthodic species are commonly found to live in the tropical regions of water, mainly in warmer areas. Some example locations include eastern coast of Africa, the southern coast of India, the coast of Australia, the Red Sea, off the coast of Florida in the United States, along the Caribbean, and along the coast of Brazil. Because pneumatic phthodic fish obtain shelters around coral reefs, they are usually located in shallow waters, since in deeper waters the sun isn't able to shine and reach the algae known as zooxanthellae. When we talk about social structure in this environment, larger fish in the species of pneumatic phthodic make more of an effect on the biome of coral reefs, as the amount of energy soaked up is based off the size of the fish. Predators. Pneumatic phthodic fish have two main predators, one being the species of sharks, as many of the time the pneumatic phthodic fish is a source of food to the large sharks. The second main predator to these fishes is the perculoalgae that can be often located in some corals that are very, very close to sea level. When fish of the pneumatic phthodic species come into contact with this algae, the fish loses its power of changing color as well as obtaining only 6 hours to live until they die. Because this species has the ability to camouflage with its surroundings, it is beneficial to the fish so that they are able to hide from the predators of sharks. The predator-prey relationship is shown as sharks often hunt for food and the pneumatic phthodic fish are usually their main source. Mating selection. The pneumatic phthodic species finds its mating partner by blowing bubbles constantly to let other fish know that it is wanting to mate. Type of reproduction. The pneumatic phthodic species reproduces sexually by rubbing their scales together. The fusion of sperm produces from testes and eggs produced from ovaries.
When a meteor full of carbon dioxide struck Earth, it released a surplus amount of carbon dioxide into the air. This carbon dioxide decreased the size of pores on plants, which therefore increased the temperature and increased the rates of evaporation. This change in temperature caused a vast decrease in sunflower life, causing only those with thorns to survive, because the thorns helped regulate the sunflower temperature in the heat that now dominated the grassland biome. This sunflower became known as the Helianthus edeste. This increase in carbon dioxide, a reactant for photosynthesis, allowed photosynthesis to take place at a faster rate in sunflowers. Despite the emergence of thorns on sunflowers, some herbivores still use the sunflowers for sustenance. Despite this, however, the sunflowers who were able to create a surplus of glucose were able to survive being partially eaten because they had enough energy to rebuild themselves. This selection pressure that favored the mutation of creating excess amounts of glucose allowed sunflowers which photosynthesize quickly to become more prominent. This new hyposynthetic sunflower species eventually created enough excess glucose needed to give the sunflower the power to move independent. And with this development, the Helanthes moto was born. Sunflowers reproduce through pollination, but since the pollen in sunflowers is so heavy, and the heat was causing a decrease in most animal life, the sunflower was having trouble reproducing. Due to this new reproductive trouble, natural selection began to benefit those sunflowers that moved in a way to entice bees to pollinate them. This new sunflower became known as the Helanthes segunt. The pressure to form a mutualistic relationship with grass in the grasslands was the last push that the sunflower needed to become the sunflower that we know and love today. The abundance of grass in the grassland is beneficial to the sunflower because the grass helps retain water after a storm. Because water is essential for sunflower life, natural selection selected a mutation that allowed the sunflowers to lie down in the grass in order to protect it from animal grazing by defending the grass with the sunflower's thorns. This new evolutionary adaptation that helped the sunflowers protect the grass below helped develop the Helanthes segunt into the Helanthes praesidia, the sunflower, the flower that helps the grass below it as if it were its own offspring. You may be wondering how a species this unique was discovered. Well, the answer is bison. Before they went off to college, of course. One day, Farmer John was walking along, and he saw that a bison was hurt and standing alone in the middle of the prairie. Farmer John immediately ran over to see what was wrong with the bison. When he got there, he looked around. Nothing seemed to be different, and then he saw it. At his feet were sunflowers lying flat, with spikes sticking out. Farmer John became so fascinated with the sunflower that he went out to observe it every day. He wrote down his observations and even went to Harvard. Farmer John then became Dr. John and wrote the book known today as The Sunflower, An Evolutionary History. I'll leave you with this thought. The sunflower is proof that heroes can be found in the most unlikely places, even inside a plant cell. I'm Catherine DeRosa, and good night.